All right. Is this working? I'm not like 100% sure if all the audio is working out because obviously this is the first try. So I'm going to need you guys in the chat to let me know if you can hear me all right. I think I think you guys could actually hear me. I'm going to just wait for at least one confirmation from chat and then I'm going to go. What a show tonight. No, I was really close to going. I really was. I woke up this morning and I was just like, that's a long trip in the rain to go solo. So I was like, forget about it. I'm going to just watch this from the comfort of my own home. All right, let's get started. Welcome to episode 1 of Book It, a pro wrestling podcast. I am your host, Eric Colon. Wednesday, January 5th, Dynamite just ended the first episode of the TBS era. We're going to get that in a little bit because I kind of want to talk about what happened before Dynamite, which was just another red wedding of employees and talent that were associated to or critical to or were the faces. I don't even know what you want to call it, but like the literal heart and soul of NXT is being ripped out before our very eyes, like destroyed to the point where they literally had Braun Breaker come out and destroy an NXT logo. Like, what more do you need? What more do you need about that? It's sad, Like NXT was like just when I had given up hope on like professional wrestling because like WWE was just dog shit, absolute dog shit. And I'm not even talking about from like a professional wrestling standpoint per se, because like they have some really talented people on that roster. Like you can't look at guys like AJ Styles and Seth Rollins and Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens and say like they don't have a talented roster, because that's bullshit. It's who's captaining the ship. You know what I mean? Like you could, okay, let's put it this way. I love my movies and binge watching shows and stuff like that. It comes down to, you could have the greatest actors of all time in one cast. But if you're a director and the person calling the shots, the showrunner, if they're fucking incompetent, that show isn't going to be good. That movie isn't going to be good. And that's the same thing with WWE. Their only issue is storytelling and continuity. I think if someone recognized the advantages of playing out a story in the ring and then having that alongside outside of the ring drama, that perfect balance is what works. I tell this to people all the time. To me, pro wrestling is if someone took the movie Rocky and made it into an episodic television show. What if Rocky lost? What happened after Rocky wins? What about all those fights in between? What's going on with him and Adrian and the kid? What, is he having issues with Mick? Like, that's fucking pro wrestling. You know what I mean? And it's a story built around good action. And if you have good action and you have good storytelling, you have a good show. I'm not just talking about pro wrestling. You have a good television show, a show that's worth tuning into week in and week out. That's WWE's problem. They gotta cut the shit with all this storytelling bullshit. It's awful. You could tell that they've written themselves into corners and they've run out of tropes to get themselves out of those corners. So now they're just renaming the same tropes. They can't build up anyone in a way where there's a legitimate number one contender. So you have these championship opportunity matches where you have to literally... So basically, what it comes down to is in the WWE, you got to beat the champ twice to win. That makes no sense. That makes no sense whatsoever. And it's the same guys that are doing it. But I'm fucking beating a dead horse right now. NXT was the perfect balance, I thought. And just when I was done watching the main roster, a buddy of mine tells me, you need to watch, I think it was my buddy Steve, he told me, you need to watch Sami Zayn versus Cesaro, the best 2 out of 3 falls match, and watch some fucking awesome wrestling. So I was like, all right, dude, I'm going to do it. And I did. I was like, yo, this was great. I was like, what is this? He's like, it's NXT. I was like, what's NXT? And he explains it to me. And I'm just all right. Now, like, mind you, this is the same guy who got me into Ring of Honor, PWG, New Japan. So, like, I was, like, dabbling in it. But, like, you know, like, WWE grabbed all those guys, like, from there. So, like, it made me want to watch that stuff more because I was like, well, where'd these guys come from? Who are these characters that they're talking about? Like, it seems like a lot of these guys have history and I don't know enough about it. But it was the storytelling in NXT that got me interested in it. You know what I mean? That's what got me tuning in each week. They should have never left the network. It should have stayed 1 hour on the network and let it just be what it was supposed to be. But you know what? As it turns out, as we start learning more and more about what's going on in NXT, it never was really what we thought it was. It seems like I watched the Killer Cross and Scarlett interview with Renee a couple of days ago, and he flat out said it. He was like, they're just two separate entities. Like, what happens in one really doesn't affect the other. And they're just going to pick what they like from NXT, and they're going to change what they want, and they're going to put it out there, and it's going to be like, this is your storytelling, and that's it. And you know what I got to say? Like, I got to respect the guy. Because he came out, and he said that, you know, he really couldn't be bitter because he knew what he was doing. Like, he knew what he signed up for. He knew that he was going to sacrifice his creative freedom, but it was going to afford him a better life. And there was really no sour grapes about it because that's what he signed up for. But it's like, you could tell. I mean, it's the same resonating story from pretty much everyone there with the exception of Daniel Bryan. Bryan Danielson. You're there and, like, that's it. Like, you have no control over your fate. You're just the face of the idea of some out-of-touch old man. Those are my words, not his. The out-of-touch old man thing. But you're just the face of his ideas. And his ideas will either succeed or fail based on the whims of the crowd. Whether or not he just happens to hit a spark with people, or he ends up just being so consistently wrong that the right answer is just too obvious to ignore, which is pretty much Daniel Bryan's career, you know, like in WWE. So there's just like, there's no progression. Like, your story ends at NXT and just a different one begins. You might have the same name, you might not. It just systematically got just annihilated. Like, the allure of NXT couldn't continue when people continue to see the same characters, kind of, sort of, just used on the main roster and totally, I don't know, like, bastardized into this weird shit. And then you just have to watch them just fade into obscurity and then eventually probably get released. So it's like, how much could you really invest in NXT seeing your characters just grow up, go on, and die? Like, that's why there weren't a lot of repeat champions. Like, the cycle of NXT was, you're a rookie, they saddle you with a gimmick, they saddle you with a story, and they give you the push, and 9 times out of 10, it was right on the money. And you get your title shot, and you defend your title a bunch of times, and it really depends if there's any other people. It really just depends how close in line the people are behind you to how long your title reign's going to be. Like, some guys got long title reigns. Some guys got pretty short title reigns, like, because there really just wasn't anything going on. When a lot of those guys went up to WWE, there was like this kind of like stagnant period in NXT where I think your champs were like Andrade and Drew McIntyre, and it really didn't start kicking off until the debut of Adam Cole at, I think, NXT TakeOver 2, because 3 was his match with Ricochet, and 4, which was NXT New York, which was his match with what's his name? Oh, with fucking Johnny Gargano. What am I talking about? I was there. But yeah, it's just, you can't. It's just you just can't get behind characters. I'll use another movie analogy, like imagine they just did nothing with Thor after movie 1. Like, they they're like, yeah, this is big thing, and he's part of the Avengers, and he just becomes this side character doing a whole bunch of bullshit. I guess depending on whether or not you liked movie 2 or 3 is whether or not you agree with that analogy, but like, you know, like you just can't get behind a character that just goes nowhere. And after a while, I was watching NXT and I was just like, dude, like, once these guys get called up, it's over. Like, they're dead to me. Like, they're gone. They're gone. Like, all the things I liked about them, their character, their creativity, the storytelling, the in-ring wrestling, the way that they're booked, everything that's about them is just gone once they've left. And I just didn't really fully comprehend the depth of the just total gutting and restructuring of NXT than it was today when I found out that Regal was gone. The fact that, like, Regal's gone, I was like, damn, yo, like, they really just don't want anything that reminds them of the old NXT. Now, I mean, my guess as a fan who has no connections and none of that bullshit, just like my own intuition, says that Vince couldn't stand them getting beat by NXT, and he was like, fuck this, I'm taking over, and just gutted it. Poor Triple H, man. And you hear from these guys how he's just, they just consider him like this genius, you know? I mean, like, he was an integral part in the creation of the Karrion Kross character. And that character was awesome. I mean, say what you will about the booking, but, like, you know what I mean? Like, he was still, like, an awesome character. Like, the entrance, like, you know, like, I think the problem was with Karrion Kross was that it's just that there wasn't a lot of guys his size for him to fight against. Like, after Keith Lee and Samoa Joe, like, his opponents were, like, Gargano, Cole, just, like, cruiserweights. And, like, Kross is a big dude. Like, that's, like, you know, like, after a while, like, and, you know, it's the same problem that's going on in AEW. Like, they're big guys, like, they don't look very well against, you know, like, against smaller guys. And a lot of the smaller guys are being booked in bigger programs than the bigger guys are. So you can't have Lance Archer going out there week after week, like, losing to guys that are, like, smaller than him, you know? I mean, like, they don't have a lot of, like, I don't know, I guess you could call them, like, middleweight guys. Like, they don't have a lot of that either. They have, you know, like, all right, like, Lance and Mox, you know, like, that was pretty good. Like, big guys like Eddie Kingston. I wouldn't even say that Hangman looked out of place when he fought Brian Cage and shit like that, but it's just like who's Brian Cage gonna fight every week? You know, you know, like fucking Darby Allin. Like, it's not gonna look good for him after a while. Like, I don't know. A lot of you guys know this because I've said this off stream. AEW needs a big hoss title. They need a title for their big dudes. They need a title. They need to repurpose the FTW title as a title for fucking monsters. Guys big like Keith Lee, you know, like Donovan Dijak, like Lance Archer, like Powerhouse Hobbs. Big motherfuckers, you know, like Brian Cage. Like, make Brian, you know, like, give Brian Cage a run with the FTW title. Make him like the king of the monsters, you know what I mean? Like, fuck that. Then you have the opportunity to get other, you know, then you could be more of a pull to other bigger guys that are out there. Like, there's a reason why, what's his name? He calls himself Jonah now, but what did he call himself, in NXT? Not Kona Reeves. What the heck was his name? Bronson Reed. You could get guys like Bronson Reed, like Jeff, like Jeff Cobb, like big guys there because they're not going to be languishing like throwing dudes like, you know, like Darby Allin and Serpentico and fucking John Silver around. You know what I mean? Make like a super heavyweight title. Like, don't call it the super heavyweight title, just call it the fucking FTW title. But like, number one, it legitimizes the title because that title ain't doing shit. And whoever has it doesn't matter. I love fucking Ricky Starks, but I don't give a fuck that he's the fucking that he's the FTW champion. What have they done to elevate that title? It's only gone between the guys in Team Taz. And if it's going to be like, this title is the symbol of the new leader of Team Taz, then like Team Taz is going to end up being a revolving door of guys coming in and out of that group. Because if you're just going to keep on getting your ass beat for a title that makes you like, you know, like the head guy, either you're going to make these guys all macho or this is just going to keep on being a revolving door. Like, give that FTW side, you know, like, give that title something to do. Because it ain't doing shit right now. And like I said, I love fucking Ricky Starks. He's awesome. I want him. You know what I want? I want that title off of him so he could go on and do other things with other guys. Ricky Starks is amazing. He's awesome on the mic. He's awesome he's awesome in the ring. Like, give this guy a storyline worth a damn, Like, have him feud with somebody. I mean, I do think that the eventual feud in Team Taz is going to end up being, I'm not in Team Taz, but I think the next big Team Taz related feud is going to be Hook and Dante Martin. Like, that has to happen. Now, I would not give that away on TV. That should be like the opening match to like Revolution. Make that the opening match to Revolution, because by then, like, I think Revolution is in March. It'll give Hook like a couple of more months to get some, to get some in-ring experience. I want to see him with like some other guys. I don't want to see him no sell a lot. He should either not do that at all, or maybe do that once in a blue moon. But like, him no selling that move from that guy from Bear Country or whatever the fuck they're called. I was like, he's like, yeah, that was cool. I popped for it as a fan. Like, I marked out. I was like, yeah, because like, the mystique of Hook is everything. So you don't want to play him out. This is the reason why guys like MJF aren't on TV every week, because you don't want to overexpose him. Now, Punk, he's talented enough and he's enough of a ratings draw that you kind of want to show him as much as possible. The same thing with Danielson. But Punk, you could showcase him on the mic more than in the ring, and he still gets that TV time, and he's still drawing viewers. Like, Danielson, put that motherfucker in the ring and have him murder everybody, because it's awesome. And I promise we're going to get to tonight's show. I just want to, like, Jerry has final thoughts. I wanted my, I like my thoughts in the beginning, goddammit. And yeah, Royal, you're right. Like, the 27 title does get more action. But the 24/7 title is also dog shit. It's even more dog shit than the FTW title, but it does get a lot more action, and it actually means, and this is a stretch, but it actually does mean slightly more than the FTW title, because people are actually trying to go for it. But yeah, ooh. All right, chat saying Ricky Starks versus Leo Rush. Yeah, after Dante. Yeah, I could see that. I mean, I don't know what's going on with Leo now after what was going on with him and Tony, but like I did hear, I don't remember if it was from fucking Uncle Dave or what, but I think I remember hearing that that Tony talked to him privately and like words were said and they're on the same page, so it's like cool. You know what I mean? I mean, like, and who's gonna really argue with Tony now after Jade Cargill was the made the inaugural TBS champion, which I'm not too fucking happy about, but we'll get to that. Actually, let's get to the show. Because talking about how dead NXT is, it fucking depresses me. But I will rock the Undisputed shirt, because that was one of the greatest factions since the Bullet Club, I guess, in recent memory. The Elite was always around. I consider the Elite Bullet Club anyways. It's just an offshoot of it, so whatever the fuck. But the Undisputed Era was like the greatest group of guys, like, since like Bullet Club. And they were only 4 dudes. Like, Bullet Club is more of like an NWO. Like, they had like a fuck ton of people, but like, like those 4 guys, God, please God, let Roddy Strong sign to AEW and just reform that group. Like, I don't care what anyone says. Like, it's smart booking to put these guys together. They're fucking money. That entire crowd of AEW, they watched NXT. They all know those guys. Like, that's why they fucking popped for Adam Cole. Like, that's why they popped for Bobby Fish. That's why they popped for Kyle O'Reilly. That's why they popped even bigger when all those guys were in the same ring together. Roddy Strong comes over there and watch out. That's going to be fucking awesome. And then obviously they would end up having like a match beyond, because that group's never lost the War Games. So they could even make that a thing. Like, we've never lost a match of this type before, whatever the fuck, if they don't want to say whatever's. But, oh yeah. Yeah, Big Swole. Yeah, Big Swole is fucking. I would not want to be Big Swole tonight. I would not. But yo, she wasn't that great. I think that if, and again, this is just my opinion, but if I think that the fact that she had Crohn's didn't do her any favors, because it was going to reduce the amount of reps that she had in the ring. And I'm not 100% familiar with this disease, but the proof is in the pudding. She wasn't on TV a lot because she was dealing with that. She even came out and said it. So, like, the fact that she still had to progress as a wrestler and as a character, and the fact that she had a disease that was going to keep her from learning at the rate that they wanted her to learn, like, I wouldn't have extended the contract either. Like, it was a roll of the dice, and you know, to be quite honest, if I had a budget, I would have spent, and I saw Swole's contract expiring, and you got girls like Toni Storm and fucking Ember Moon and Mia Yim, and I think Candice LeRae, is definitely like released. I don't even know, but like, you know, like, I would want to put that money towards them. I'd put those women right on TV immediately, because you need women that are way more talented than the ones that we have now, and that was evident in tonight's TBS match, which I swear to God I'm going to get to. But, like, you got to get, like, I'm sorry, like, there's just better people out there than her. It's really no disrespect. And you know what, like, I think that if she would have left a little bit, I think that if what had happened didn't happen, I mean, like, I wouldn't say, like, the doors are completely closed, but, she could go and get reps in Impact, in GCW, in, you know, PWG, you know, like, she could get better and make something, and make something more of herself. You know, like, anybody could do a Cody. Anybody could leave the big company and make something of themselves if they fucking hustle. Like, Cody's not, like, the greatest in the world, but, like, you know, he definitely is more of a star now than he was when he was in WWE. And a lot of that happened on the indies, but he also, like, you know, made smart decisions and saddled, and, you know, like, he hitched his, I wouldn't say, like, hitched a ride, because, like, you know, like, the guy could do his own work or whatever, but, like, he put himself next to the right people at the right time, and he rode that wave of momentum perfectly. So there's no reason why anybody else could do that. Fucking Cody could do it, anybody could do it, especially fucking Big Swole. So I don't think it's the end of her. I think you're gonna see her someplace else. Maybe in the reformatted Ring of Honor, whatever that becomes of, in, what is it, probably like May or June or July of this year. So we'll see. But anywho, tonight, Dynamite from Newark, Jersey. First show of the TBS era. They started out strong. They had out Hangman versus Danielson. I thought this match was fucking awesome. I was convinced that it was going to go to the judges because they kept on putting focus on them. But once again, the storytelling outsmarted me, which I love. I prefer to be outsmarted than to outthink who's actually doing the booking, because then why bother watching the show if I could write it myself? So I thought it was great. I think eventually that, you know, that judges thing is going to be a part of a controversial title change. I don't know how, I don't know when, probably maybe even years down the line, because you want to keep the sanctity of these matches not fucked with, you know what I mean? So match started off with Hangman just like looking like he was not going to waste any time. He didn't want this to go an hour, rushing after him. They went after the arm. He was selling the arm big time, obviously, because he didn't want to, I guess he was trying to counter the buckshot lariat, and the fact that, you know, if you want to use the dead eye, you're going to have to, you know, lift this motherfucker up. So obviously he was trying to go for the arm. Both guys got the juice, which I thought was fucking awesome. It was cool to see Danielson take some blood. It was a fucking perfect match. I thought it was awesome. It went just under a half hour. The right guy won. I do not think you should be putting a title on Danielson at all in his at his time within AEW. The only title he should possibly be holding is the New Japan title. So, and I have a feeling, based on how Wrestle Kingdom ended, I think that it's a prime opportunity for Danielson to go and enter the G1 and win and challenge Okada. That would be fucking awesome. And I think, like, he's only wrestling for, like, I think he only signed, like, a 3-year contract with AEW. And I think, like, a lot of the matches he's going to be doing as an AEW representative. So I'm not saying he's, like, signing to New Japan at all. I think at a certain point, there's going to be a very big and blatant and open, like, interpromotional thing with New Japan and AEW. I think they're just waiting for, like, COVID to just get stable whenever the fuck that's going to happen, so that the travel arrangements don't screw up, or you don't have big name guys from AEW stranded in Japan because of COVID or some shit, and vice versa. So I think it's coming. I think Tony is, I'm just a fan. This is all just fucking speculation. But I think that, like, if I were Tony, I'd be looking at the 3 years and be like, okay, I could see COVID coming under control in 3 years. And while I have these guys under contract, I could get these, I could get these storylines out for the fans and really build something. But I think we're still a little bit of a ways off of a serious like New Japan invasion. Maybe we'll see Okada and like maybe we'll see one-offs that are starts of storylines that get finished in New Japan whenever that happens. You know, there's a lot of stuff going on with Moxley and Tanahashi. Tanahashi, I think he just won the I think he just won the title, or Kenta retained. I hope Kenta retained. I love Kenta. I don't know, this year's Wrestle Kingdom was like, they got to start letting these people cheer because it's fucking bullshit. You're just watching them, and it's like I'm at school watching wrestling, you know? Like, I'm just there to learn, like, the technique. Like, there's no storytelling or emotion because the crowd's totally sucked out of it, and all they get is the clapping. Like, that's it. It's killing me. It's fucking killing New Japan, and it's killing my love for New Japan. I'm sorry. Like, that's why I was so glad to see, like, a lot of these guys show up in AEW, because you could actually see them with the actual crowd reactions that they deserve, because at least that fan base, like, knows who these guys are. But the right man won. You know, Hangman won. One buckshot lariat, just won. You did under 30. It was the right call because MJF is going to be the next AEW champion. You heard, if you haven't heard it here first, you're hearing it here fucking first right now, that the next 4 champions of AEW are going to be their pillars. Those are going to be the next 4 champions. All right? Number 1, all their champs have been getting younger. You went from Jericho to Mox to Omega to Hangman. And Hangman, I think, is still in his 20s. I think he's 28 or 29. So he's, like, really young. And it's always gone face, heel, you know? So it's definitely time for a big heel to show up. All this shit with MJF talking about the title. He's going to beat Punk. And it's the way to have, you know, MJF be the guy, like, over Danielson, because he beat the guy who beat Danielson. He's going to beat Hangman. Like, it's gonna fucking happen. I don't know if it may happen at Revolution. I feel like the Punk MJF match has to happen first. So, I think it'll probably, I think the title will change hands either at Double or Nothing or All Out. I wouldn't change the title. I wouldn't change the title on TV. I know they did that at Winter's Coming, and that was cool and all. But because like I think like Hangman has to have like a decent reign. The problem is with AEW, and sometimes it's a little bit hard to book, is because like their pay-per-views are so far out. So it's not like you have like a 4-week lead up to a blow off. It's usually like a 3 or 4 month lead up to a blow off. And they're really doing everything that they can to put time and distance between, Punk and MJF. But, Tony's right. You got to strike while the iron's hot. Like, you can't keep these guys separate, like, for forever. Like, it was inevitable. So I'm going to say, let's see. So Hangman won at Full Gear. That was November, right? November, December, January, February, March. That's a 4-month reign. April, May, June. I think, Double or Nothing is going to happen in, like, June or, like, May, June, or July. So, yeah, a 6-7 month reign, that's not bad. That's good. It gives him a lot of time to beat a lot of people, and he could beat a lot of people. There's a lot of people in AEW that he could beat. He could beat Punk also. But I don't think Punk's ever going to get a shot at the title until MJF has the belt. So, there's that. But yeah. So, the right man won. They did a video package saying the Acclaimed is going to drop a music video next week. I love the Acclaimed. I don't feel like they were the same after that whole bullshit controversy with them saying, like the Julia Hart shit. I thought it was great. I thought it was fucking bullshit that they suspended them for their internet reaction when the crowd reaction was positive. And that ended up happening like 3 or 4 weeks before the internet reacted. So no one gave a shit. There was plenty of opportunity for people to film it with their phones, put it online. Oh my God, this is what he, like so-and-so just said at this taping of whatever. Like, that could have blown up weeks ago. But, morons or haters of AEW or both decided that they were going to make a big stink about this. Fuck, the fucking internet is fucking awful, man. And I know that this is ironic because, like, you guys are using the internet to see and speak with me right now. But it's fucking bullshit, man. I would never listen to Twitter. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. This podcast will never have a Twitter. Ever. We'll never have a fucking Twitter. You wanna know why? Because I don't give a fuck what anybody with a Twitter account fucking thinks. I don't give a shit. It's stupid. Because they neutered the Acclaimed. Now, the Acclaimed are still good. Like, they're still, like, like, you gotta give credit to Max. Like, he's writing these raps. Like, he's still maintaining, like, some sort of edginess. Even though, like, you could tell that they've definitely been scaled back in terms of, like, how savage those raps are going to be. But, like, they got a bright future, and I don't know, I'm semi-excited for the music video. We'll see. Because they're not, they're not contenders for anything. They're not feuding with anybody. So this music video either needs to start a new feud or I don't know what. Whatever. Speaking of MJF and shit like that, okay, so Shawn Dean beats MJF by DQ. Another clever use of a disqualification. I think that was, I don't know, the second or third one in AEW history, which is great because they usually have 2 or 3 a night on fucking Monday Night Raw. Idiots. So, I liked the line. I liked how MJF continues to be open about possibly signing with WWE. I want MJF to obviously stay in AEW because I know he'll be used properly because no way he'll be able to be MJF under Vince. But, the kid's like 24 years old and Vince is going to throw him like a, multi-million-dollar contract and it's going to outdo Tony's. In this business, you got to make, to be quite honest, like, you got to make all the money you can right now. You know what I mean? Like, you have no idea whether or not, like, COVID's going to hit and the industry's going to shut down again. You don't know if fucking AEW is going to go under. Like, there are a lot of different factors. Like, you don't know if you're going to get injured. Like, fucking Rey Fenix tonight, and his fucking leg went from uncooked spaghetti to spaghetti in a split fucking second. We're going to talk about that shit. And I fucking love the Lucha Bros, man. I was like, Anywho. So, yeah, there's a strong chance he's going to go. And Vince would be an idiot not to sign him. The guy's fucking talented. He can go in the ring and he could talk. You could definitely put the belt under on MJF and give him a long ass fucking Roman Reigns, title reign kind of thing. Give him a fucking, he'll be. You know what? I hesitate to say he'll be fine in WWE because there are a lot of sure things that fucking company has screwed up. Bray Wyatt, for example. AJ Styles, they're now starting to, they've been screwing him up. The fact that they built up a feud with him and fucking Shinsuke Nakamura to lead to WrestleMania. We're finally going to get a Wrestle Kingdom-esque match at WrestleMania. And it becomes a feud of fucking dick shots. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not hiring fucking Helen Mirren and fucking Anthony Hopkins to do slapstick fucking comedy. They're fucking classical actors. I'm gonna hire them to do some great shit. I'm not gonna. It's just ridiculous. So MJF could go there and he could totally be fucking ruined. He'll make his money. He'll probably be another guy like Cross. He doesn't seem like a dumb guy. He's only gonna be like, listen, I know there's a strong chance that this old fuck is gonna screw my character up 6 ways from Sunday. And you know what? That's fine. He could go right back to fucking AEW and still be a heel, and you'll be like, you failed in WWE, blah, 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 and that'll be the dig that they give to him, just like they give the UFC dig to Punk every once in a while. Regardless, MJF's going to be fine. Maybe he'll get more of a chance at Hollywood if he signs with WWE, because they honestly do have more exposure, so, whatever. But I thought it was a clever use of the DQ. I like the line about him being the main attraction of night 4 of a 2-for-1 discount. I thought that was pretty smart because, you know, like the marketing, like it really is fucking shameless, the marketing of WrestleMania and WWE. Like it's just, I mean, like if you can't see what they're trying to do, then I don't know what else to tell you. But yeah, so now is the eventual match of CM Punk and Wardlow. Is this going to be the turn for Wardlow? I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, Bulletproof in the chat had a good idea that you know, the MJF should sign for like a 1-year deal and get that. Okay. So he's saying that the Bucks should have like a deal that, I'm sorry. He's saying that MJF should have a deal like the Bucks were gonna have with WWE, where I think it was like they signed a 3-year deal, but the last 2 years were optional if they didn't like what they were getting the first year. Yeah. If MJF like negotiates for a dope-ass contract where he's like, listen, you have 12 months to make me a star, and if I don't see that you're doing what I like, I'm fucking gone. He could do that. That's a good point. So it really just depends on the contract he's going to sign with WWE, to be quite honest. But I wouldn't expect anything awesome from him in WWE. Yeah, it'll be cool to see him interact with people that he hasn't interacted before. He's going to interact with all the guys that he couldn't and you know, he's in AEW, because that's the only forbidden door that's closed right now, is the one to WWE, so I get it. We'll see. I mean, if he goes to WWE, I still ain't fucking watching. So it doesn't matter. Vince does not get any money from me. I do not watch anything. Like, I find out what I find about WWE from people who still watch WWE. Like, that's it. It's not worth my time. I'm not falling for it. All the hotshot booking, I'm not falling for it. He doesn't get my money. This was the last time. Like NXT dying, like that was it. Once NXT went into like this 2.0, that was it with me in WWE. Like that was it. Like I'm not watching. I like NXT is not something. No, it's over. It's done. Anywho, Chris Jericho promo. Jericho, I'm sorry, man. Like, I love Jericho. He's awesome. He's a Hall of Famer. He's a great mind. But like, pinhead, squarehead, that's Vince shit. You know what I mean? That's just shitty. That's just shitty heat. I wasn't a fan of it. I thought Jericho was the only shitty part of that whole promo, which is actually a surprise because it's a Chris Jericho segment. I thought Matt Lee was awesome. I love fucking 2.0. And him, like them and Daniel Garcia. Again, and here's another belt that is way overdue, a fucking trios title. This needs to fucking happen. There's way too many trios in AEW. They have way too many good matches. There's too many guys in trios that are languishing doing nothing. And if you put them in a tournament and have a title for them to chase after and start making storylines built around a title chase, a lot of these guys are going to have a lot more to do. But right now, there just isn't. There's too many singles guys, not enough singles titles, and way too many trios groups, and not enough trios titles. Like, they got to do something with the trios. So, like, let's get this shit going. Like, this needs to happen at, I don't know. I feel like if it was gonna happen, it would have happened. It would have happened already leading up to Revolution, because they have enough trios teams that they could have just spaced this out over the course of a couple of Dynamites. But I guess maybe it'll happen at Double or Nothing. Maybe it'll happen at All Out. I don't know. But they got to start doing something with the trios. You had Santana and Ortiz and Kingston come down to save Jericho. Unless this is leading to a Kingston and Jericho feud, I don't know what the fuck's going on. Santana and Ortiz are overdue for the belts. Hopefully they're the ones that take them off of Jurassic Express. I don't know how I feel about Jurassic Express winning tonight, but being that fucking Phoenix is a goddamn invalid after this, you know, I wasn't gonna get that no matter what. So they would have had to have vacated the titles. It would have been a wrap. Or they would have done some fucking Freebirds bullshit and then had Pac be, do a Freebirds thing and had Pac be one of the tag champs, but that would have been stupid. So, but hey, Jungle Boy gets a title, hooray. Yeah. So they need Santana and Ortiz need belts. Like, they got to be doing something more with these guys. Like, I like them a lot. We'll see. Hopefully they're the ones that get the next shot at the tag titles. I thought it was interesting that it was a face swap, which is kind of cool because normally it's like a heel face kind of thing when it comes to titles, or I guess depending on who you talk to. At least that's how the world title is booked. At least all their world titles except both of the world titles except for what do you call it? The TNT title. Sometimes it's like faces beating faces. You know, I think like because Darby beat Cody for it. They were both baby faces, so whatever. Adam Cole backstage with Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish. They make mention again that O'Reilly didn't mean to kick him in the face, so I don't know what's going on with that. Like, I don't know if it's going to be a thing now where, I mean, it kind of feels like a little rehash of like the Kenny and the Elite storyline where like someone's getting dissuaded to go to another guy and, and they're saying like, oh, he attacked you, blah, blah, blah. So I don't know. And I think it's kind of cool that they're loosely referencing, the feud that they had in NXT. I think that it's kind of cool that like these guys' histories don't just vanish when they come into this company. I like that there's some cross-brand continuity. The only people who aren't doing that are fucking WWE. So whatever. It's gonna be Cole versus Jake Atlas. Cole's gonna win, obviously. Jake Atlas just signed a new full-time contract with AEW. Congrats to him. I'm not very familiar. I mean, I did watch him on NXT when I used to watch NXT. He was all right, but he was never like somebody where I was just like, oh man, I'm really looking forward to that Jake Atlas match tonight. Like, that's never been the case with me. And I'm hoping that it does become the case with me one day soon. So, congrats to Jake Atlas for getting a contract with a company that isn't shit like WWE. Wardlow with Shawn Spears defeats some random motherfucker, Antonio Zambrano. The Wardlow face turn is coming, people. It's motherfucking coming, and it's going to be awesome. But I hope Wardlow's ready for it, because right now he wrestles like Jade fucking Cargill. Like he stomps a dude and he power bombs him about 50 fucking some odd times, and then he pins him. That does not a match make. Like, yeah, he can, he could have, like, those, like, squash matches, yeah. But, like, you're going to put him in a program with a guy like MJF, which we all know eventually it's going to happen. They're going to turn Wardlow face. He's going to go probably fight MJF. Obviously, MJF's going to beat him because no fucking way Wardlow's beating MJF. No way. Unless there's some sort of fuck finish with Punk. And now the thing is that Punk is going to keep on getting MJF losses until he fucking just beats Punk and just puts him in his rear view and then starts going for the title. So we'll see. So that's the only way that Wardlow's beating MJF is if someone interferes and there's some sort of fuck finish. But so Zambrano jumped out of the ring. Spears beat he gave him the C4 on the outside. He throws him into the ring. Wardlow then does the powerbomb marathon or whatever the fuck he wants to call it, covers him for the win. All right, we'll see where this goes. But Wardlow better be ready, man. You better be ready to put on fucking matches with guys who I feel like if you're gonna be on TV and you're gonna be on a pay-per-view, you shouldn't have to be carried in a match. Like, there should be no reason why one guy is doing all the work. I'm gonna talk and. The next thing that I'm going to talk about is going to be the Jade Cargill match, and it's going to play into this also. But, like, Ruby Soho carried that match. Like, thank God there were commercial breaks. Like, if I would have went there and I was in the crowd, I would have been like, holy shit. I might have actually, I think, honestly, the second it went past, 3 minutes, and, I would have probably gotten up and probably tried to see if I could get some concessions. Or that vintage hoodie. Like, I like this hoodie, but I like those varsity AEW hoodies that they got. They're nice. It's just I love Jade Cargill. She's smoking hot and she's a goddess. But she can't carry a match, man. She can't fucking do it. That's the double-edged sword for tonight for Swole, because Tony flat out said he was interviewed by Barstool Sports. And I think they asked him, what is he looking for in a star? And two of the things he said that, in-ring ability and professionalism. So it's like Jade won, but like she's not good in the ring, but she won the belt. Now, the only thing I could think of that will give her an edge above Swole is that she's a more compelling character than Swole. Like Jade could cut, like, you know, when Jade talks, I listen. But when she wrestles, I don't watch. So she's half the package right now, you know? Swole, I didn't want to watch her matches and I didn't want to hear her talk neither. So like, I get that, like, why she got released, but like, that's got us thing that like someone who, like, I feel in my opinion didn't really have that much in-ring ability won the belt. But, you know, it's whatever. It's fine. Whoever's going to beat her for that belt is definitely going to be more technically sound than her. They're obviously going to be building an underdog story, so it's definitely going to be, you know, obviously it's going to be a babyface and it's going to be someone who hasn't won the title yet. But we'll see. We'll see. I thought that, I didn't think that, I thought that it was possible that Thunder Rosa was going to go to the finals, but I really feel like her first title should be against Britt and not against a vacant, you know, and not for a vacant title. I think that that's going to be the person that's going to take the title off of Britt Baker. It's only a matter of time, but they're going to build Thunder Rosa up with some feuds, and then they're going to give Britt a nice, long, healthy reign. Because to be quite honest, the reigns in the women's division, they need to be long because they do not have, and this is the problem with WWE again, like they do not have enough women for you to have like frequent title changes. Like they don't have enough like seasoned women who could carry a belt and carry a title reign and carry that division to do it. Like it's not gonna happen, which makes me believe. Okay, so yeah, so all right, so I agree with Royal. Like if they make the TBS title like the female TNT title, which means like it's gonna be their workhorse title, Jade is in fucking trouble. But if it's just going to be another title for the women and she's not going to be someone who wrestles very often and it's just going to be one of like, you know, like they're going to give her like a Brock treatment where like she only like they're going to try not to overexpose her. They're going to have her do like a squash match every once in a while and then she's going to have an actual match with someone. Like that's possible, but I just like she can't wrestle a match over 3 minutes. I'm sorry. Like unless it's squash matches, she can't fucking do it. Like that match was putrid. And I will say, like, this show kind of fell off a cliff after the Hangman match. You know what I mean? Like, Wardlow isn't a match that I'm going to write home about. Him doing 5 power bombs after Spears squashed some fucking no-name. Like, I don't care. You know what I mean? You know, the MJF promo was a good, you know, was good TV time. You know, I thought that was cool. I like to be quite honest, for them to follow up the Page match with Punk and MJF was a smart move. So I'm going to say more specifically that the show fell off the cliff after, you know, MJF and Punk. Because the Jericho promo was lame. They had the video package for Jake Atlas. Adam Cole saying he's going to fight Jake Atlas. Wardlow squashing a nobody. They did a video package with Chris Statlander and Layla Hirsch, which you know, to be quite honest, it's going to be a pretty good match, I think, because they could both go. It's just like, I don't know, it's just something about Layla's look. Like, she has this, like, you know, like, she you know, it's like this shooter kind of look to it, but, like, she still has no personality. Like, she still doesn't cut promos. We still don't know what Layla's all about. She just seems to be someone, you know, a woman who wrestles, and she's tough. And she's small, and she fights people who are bigger than her, and sometimes she comes out on top. Okay. What else? Who is she? Who's Layla Hirsch? You know, yeah, I think they said like she's from Russia, but she's actually from Jersey or some shit. Give me more. Make me want to care. Same, and you know, like the same thing with like Chris Statlander. Like now she's getting a little bit of a character because she's like, you know, the weird girl friend in Best Friends or whatever. So she's got something going on with her aside from the alien gimmick. Also, her like destroying everybody on her way to fight Britt, I thought was a good build up. Eventually, she's gonna win the title. I just don't know when. She could be the one who beats Jade. That would make sense because she's big and she could throw Jade around and it looks realistic. And she's obviously gonna have to carry Jade because Jade can't carry herself. So Statlander is definitely, and she's someone, if they do decide to make that a workhorse title, she's someone that could, you know, whatever, like really just go for it. To be quite honest, like whether or not it's a workhorse title honestly depends on who's holding the belt. Because remember when Brody Lee had the TNT belt, the first promo he cut, he was like, I'm not defending this every week against fucking no-name, indie, like midgets and bullshit like that. And he didn't defend it every week. He defended it every so often. Like, really, the guys who defended it every week were, like, the baby faces. Like, Cody defended it every week. Darby defended it every week. Like, Miro didn't defend it every week. He defended it every so often. Like, he beat people, but, like, and, like, he defended it sometimes, but not really, every week. But yeah. Layla Hirsch is like a Chad Gable with no personality. Like, Chad Gable has personality and he has wrestling ability. That's why Chad Gable's the man. That's why, like, the fact that American Alpha did not go anywhere was one of, like, the greatest failures of WWE, because they had everything. They had a gimmick that got over, chants, they were merchandisable, they were athletes, they were a great tag team. Like, Gable was like, like the plucky, optimistic, kind of like wild card of the group. Jason was the more measured of the two, but, like, they both built off of each other's intensity, you know what I mean? And, like, Shorty G, fuck out of here. Fuck out of here. Unbelievable. So, Jade Cargill wins in a boring-ass match. She didn't even know what corner to go to for the finish. She went to the wrong corner, went to the right corner, and then, like, literally rolls herself into a roll-up right before the actual finish. She's god fucking awful. She's sexy as hell, but, like, get her some reps, man. Like, if that's the case, like, have her start beating an endless procession of women from the indies who could carry her to 3-minute matches, then build them up to 4-minute matches and 5-minute matches, so that she could get ready for someone who actually has talent to come and take that belt off of her. Sorry. They had the Serena Deeb interview, which was fucking awesome. I'm liking the Serena Deeb. I like when the women have worthwhile fucking storylines, aside from someone betrayed me or someone screwed me over. You know what I mean? Well, I don't know. Like, this was kind of like a screw over one because she was all pissed off that she lost, but she fucking lost clean. She's just upset that she lost. Serena Deeb could go in the ring. Shida could go in the ring. The only probably weak side to this whole thing is that you're never gonna get a good promo out of Hikaru Shida, unless they do one with subtitles and they give her, like, a really good scripted one. Like, you're never gonna see a good in-ring you're never gonna see like a promo battle like Ruby and Britt did between Serena Deeb and Hikaru Shida. I think that's going to strictly just be, like, interviews with JR, Jim Ross, and that's pretty much it. You know what? I would do that too. I would hide the fact that her weakness is her promo ability. Like, that's why her reign was okay. That's why the reign with Riho was okay. Nyla Rose, not a bad reign. I think she was just a victim of the fact that roster had no talent for her to beat anybody worthwhile. She actually cuts pretty good promos. That, her saying, like, I break bitches, that's the greatest shit of all time. She was like, break bitches. I was like, holy shit. Yeah, I like that. When she fucking cold-cocked Ruby Soho and was just like, surprise, bitch, and just knocked her out. I was like, yeah. Like, give me more of that, Nyla Rose. Get what's-her-name out of there. Like, I love Vicky. Get her out of there. She's go-away heat. Her voice is annoying. I don't care. Unless you're going to have her talk normal, get rid of this excuse me bullshit. Stop having her shrieking and screaming. Have her be someone who's like an OG, like mafiosa kind of, like badass, like heel female manager. And stop screaming and acting like a goddamn lunatic. Like, enough. This isn't the WWE. Cut that shit out. And then maybe, like, there'll be a little bit more aura to Nyla. But, like, that division's got to flush itself out. She's not going to be holding that belt for a while. I mean, she might be able to hold, like, the TBS title, because that's going to be something that, like, for, like, other women to hold aside from the AEW women's title, which obviously should be the number one title. I don't care what Tony says, AEW. Anything with the letters AEW on it needs to be, like, the main title of that division. What else happened after that? So Malachi Black versus Brian Pillman Jr., Julia Hart had a fucking hysterical eye patch, which I thought was great. Brian Pillman Jr. only seems to come to the Northeast to get his ass whooped, because the last time he came to the Northeast was at Grand Slam and MJF whooped that ass. I like Varsity Blondes. Obviously, they're a young tag team. I'm obviously like, there's no rush with them. I don't expect them to go anywhere. I don't expect anything from them now. They're doing exactly what I feel like they should be doing based on the amount of time that they've had in the ring and on TV. Maybe even doing a little bit more. Brian Pillman Jr. I really don't care too much for. Potential, great. Same thing with, like Griff Garrison. Like, this is the thing I think people don't understand when they complain about people not being used in AEW. All right, AEW is not even 3 fucking years old, you idiots. All right? Like, and a lot of these guys are brand new, young talent. Like, not from the indies, like fucking young, like out of the Nightmare Factory or whoever else is training anywhere. Like, young talent. And like, you gotta build people up somehow. You know what I mean? Like it's gotta start somewhere. Like, yeah, put them on TV as a tester to see how the crowd likes them and shit like that, and then see where they go from there. Like a lot of guys, like they started on Dark and Elevation, and then they kind of like held off on them until like they popped off. Except for like a guy like Hook, like he pretty much started on Rampage. Like there's some guys who should just start on Rampage. Like they're obviously better than a Dark or an Elevation debut, which is why like guys like Jay Lethal and like Bobby Fish had their first matches on Rampage. Like that's where like those guys should debut. Like a big name, like a fucking Johnny Gargano or some shit like that. Like you debut those motherfuckers at a pay-per-view or on Dynamite. But like you just gotta give these guys time. Like you gotta give them time. Like Jade, you gotta give her time. I don't think she should have had the belt. She needed a lot more time under her to do it. Yeah, exactly, Bulletproof. People are talking about how like Shawn Spears should have been AEW title, champ and Pac too. No, man, those guys are role players. Like those are guys that you could put in, and you know that they're gonna have a good match with good people. If you want to give them a storyline, they could carry a storyline. They don't need to be carried in a match. Like those are dependable guys. Like those are guys that you want to be able to use. Tony has to write live television every week forever. There is no season finale to pro wrestling. Every week there's a new episode. There's not something where they could stop, look back on the prior season, see what worked with the fans and what didn't, film things, put teasers out of what of what the plans are for like the next season. You can't do any of that shit. You gotta plant these seeds on the fucking go, because like that ship stops for nobody. Like they have to put on good shows each week, and like sometimes there just aren't people that are good enough to carry that show each week. You got to put them. You have to utilize them someplace else. You got to give guys like a Shawn Spears. Like I kind of like the character that Shawn Spears has right now. He's kind of like this fucking sociopath, and like the only way he could get off is if he beats some poor motherfucker with a chair. Like I like that. That's cool. The whole chairman gimmick, that's cool. And like I'm pretty sure he could carry a promo too. But if it's a choice between putting guys like MJF, Punk, Danielson, Hangman on TV over guys like Brian Cage and Shawn Spears and Pac, I'm gonna put those guys over guys like Shawn Spears and Pac and like guys and like shit like that. Like I'm not gonna waste valuable TV time in big money matches with like just midway guys. Like it's not gonna happen. Yeah, the same thing with Swole. Thank you. The same thing with Swole. Like that, like she was not good enough to be on TV enough to carry a women's division. Like that division has maybe a small handful of women that could go, and an even smaller handful of women that are a double threat on the stick and in the ring. Ruby Soho, good in both. Thunder Rosa, good in both. Britt Baker, good in both. Nyla Rose, an argument could be made. She's good in both, but if someone told me no, I could be easily dissuaded otherwise. Let's put it that way. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry, but like, and then like, don't give me the whole like diversity thing as a smokescreen for why you want to do it. It's bullshit. Like, don't. Like, you say that because you don't want to be, because you feel like if you do that, you're above reproach because you're claiming a noble concept. No. It's fucking dumb booking. That's what it is. It's fucking dumb booking. And I don't stand for dumb booking. I don't care. I don't care what it is. Let the people that you want on there for whatever other reasons that are outside of their talent and their on the mic ability, at least give those people who you support the respect and the time and the patience that they fucking deserve to build up their craft so that they're worthy for the pushes that you want for them. But if you push everybody to the moon too fast, you're crippling them. You're not doing them a service. If you were to push Swole, it would not have gone well. Like Jade Cargill, like she's got to drop that belt quick. She can't be defending that thing every week. I am very fucking curious to see how Tony is going to be how Tony's going to book her title reign. Honestly, we'll see. But that's a belt for like a Statlander to win, or I don't know, like who else is like maybe a Red Velvet when she gets her shit together. Red Velvet's okay. She's getting there. She could talk, and she could go in the ring a little bit better than Big Swole. So like whatever. So we'll see. Okay. So then they had after the Pillman match, they had that backstage segment with Ruby Soho. Britt Baker interrupts her. Basically, Soho tells her, like, why the fuck are you in my business when you have to fight Riho and she can't do shit? They jump Soho. Riho comes out. Brawl ensues. Tag team match coming. I don't care. Because, obviously, number one, Riho isn't she's not beating Britt Baker. So there's that. But this is just something to keep them involved with each other until Battle of the Belts on Saturday. Great. She will beat Britt, and then they got to start building up someone else for this title, because I'm telling you, man, like outside of Thunder, I don't know what's happening with the AEW Women's title. They already had Statlander fight at All Out. She lost. She's gonna beat Riho. She already beat Nyla. She's not fighting. She's not fighting. Oh, she beat Ty Conti. She's not fighting the Bunny or Penelope Ford anytime soon. She beat Red Velvet. What, you gonna give Sky Blue the belt? Fuck out of here. All right. So then they go through the lineup for Rampage: Adam Cole versus Jake Atlas, Hook versus Aaron Solo. I'm telling you, man, the eventual match between Hook and Dante Martin is going to be pretty freaking sweet. I think Dante Martin should bring Hook to his limits. You got to have Hook go over. Dante Martin could take the loss. He's a tag team guy anyways. He'll eventually be back in a tag team once his brother comes back. Like, that's all good. Hook getting the win would be big. I do not want them to put a title on Hook anytime soon. Not this year. Maybe sometime next year. Maybe. If he continues to keep going on the course that he's going on, put a title on that motherfucker. But otherwise, use him sparingly. Give him a big win every now and again with, an appropriate opponent. Dante Martin, he's popular enough that beating him says something, but he's not dominant enough that it puts Hook into any sort of title talk at all. Especially if you're not gonna especially if you're gonna put him over a lot, you don't want him racking up those wins too fast, because then you get a gun club situation. They're like 32-0, and you're wondering why they never got title shots. So I don't think he should talk either. I think that his first big breakout match, and by breakout match I mean the match that sends him into title contention, where he's not just the guy on Rampage, he's got storylines going on Dynamite. I don't think it should be until he fights one of the pillars. I think he needs to fight like a Sammy Guevara. He needs to fight a Jungle Boy. I don't think he should fight an MJF, or I don't think he should fight a Darby, because I think like MJF and Darby are like the main event guys of the pillars. I think Jungle Boy and Sammy are just a little bit of a ways off. I think Sammy needs to fucking get his shit together, bro. because like I don't know what's going on with his character. Like hopefully, I guess I don't know if he's gonna be Cody or not, and just be another 2-time TNT champ. But then the fact of the matter is, why even put the belt on Cody in the first place if you were just gonna let Sammy take it a week later? I don't know, but something's got to be going on with Sammy Guevara. I'm curious as to what it is. But what was I saying? Yeah. And then like, you know, he should like cut a promo being like, you know, like they talk about you 4 guys like you're special. Like you guys are, you know, like you're the 4 pillars. You're gonna be like, you know, you're gonna be all that. But like they never put Hook into that conversation. Now I'm not saying now this is just my idea for a promo. I'm not saying that Hook should be in the conversation for part of the 4 pillars, but I think that a great chip on his shoulder should be that the fact that he's a young talent just like they are, but he's never mentioned in the conversation when it comes to that, when you know, the group of people who are going to carry the company forward. And I think he should fight one of those guys and beat them, and I think that should be the thing. I think eventually he should go and he should beat all of them on the road to a title. On the road to his actual world, an actual world title. Now, Hook should be holding the AEW world title for a long fucking time. But I definitely think that that's a storyline going forward. As long as the 4 pillars stay together in the same company and guys like MJF don't sign on, sign over to Vince in 2024, then like you could do really good storylines with like a new crop of young talent trying to overthrow this current crop of young talent. And that's like the promising part of AEW. Like you have generations of possible storylines and like builds that you could do because you have such all these young guys. Like, you know, Dante Martin's like what, like 2021? Like they're going to be a big thing in the tag. Like him and his brother are going to be a big thing in the tag division. The same thing with Private Party. A lot of people are like, oh, you know, what's going on with Private Party? Private Party's young, man. They're saddled up with Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy's a face that draws. They're in a faction. They're on TV. They get reps. They're going to figure their shit out and they're going to be awesome. Like the young tag team division of AEW, like 3-4 years down the line, like look out. You know, like guys, like what do you call it? Like Varsity Blondes. Like, they're going to be the ones that, like, you're going to be hoping that they get their reps in and they start learning and growing their characters and growing their trait because, like, they're going to be that tag team division if they stay with the company. Like, they're that young tag team talent. Like, a lot of people focus on the, on the singles main roster when it comes to, like, young talent and shit like that. But you have other divisions that you have to worry about that you need to fill up with young talent. Like, a trios division, you could fill up with anybody because you could put a mix of old talent and young talent together. Like, you know, like there's not very, you know, like factions and shit like that. There will always be trios no matter what. Young or old, there will always be trios. But when it comes to your women, when it comes to your mid-card titles, when it comes to your main event titles, like I was saying before, if you're going to have live TV every week forever, you need to start like hiring people and like people like Sky Blue, who's like 19 or 20 years old, and try and get them under and try and get them under contract to AEW, because when you know girls like Britt are like older and there's going to be a passing of the guard, it's going to be girls like Red Velvet, who's I think she's pretty young. If not, she looks fantastic for whatever age that she is. But you know, like Red Velvet and like Layla Hirsch and Chris Statlander, you know, like just like that kind of shit. Like you got to build that, you know what I mean? What do we got? Let's see. And then they're going to do the tag match on Rampage, Dr. Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter versus Riho and Ruby Solo. Who cares? Then they did the lineup for Battle of the Belts. That's an hour show, so it makes sense that they're only going to be 2 matches. TNT championship matches on the line, Cody Rhodes and Sammy Guevara. The women's title is going to be up for grabs with Britt Baker versus Riho. I expect Cody to come away with the belt, and he's going to retain, and his heel's turn is going to be fucking awesome. Excuse me. Good thing I had this water nearby. My throat was getting dry. Excuse me. Cody's going to come away with the belt. His heel turn's going to be awesome. I think he knows what he's doing. His interview on Barstool was pretty eye-opening. He pretty much admitted that the Anthony Ogogo storyline was bullshit. To be quite honest, when I knew he was gonna feud with Ogogo, I stopped caring. So that whole promo that he cut that people didn't like, I didn't even bother listening to it. So it was your own fault for listening to that bullshit promo because I could have told you that storyline was going nowhere from the beginning. So if you're like, oh, it's tone deaf, I blame you for being an idiot for even listening to that bullshit. But thank God Cody's self-aware enough that he knew that storyline was pretty tone deaf and garbage. Go-Go can't wrestle, so there's that. Cody isn't that great to be carrying people in matches, so there's that. Well, he can. I take that back. But not at the level of skill that a Go-Go had. Maybe someone who had a little bit more talent, yeah. But I think he's gonna end up going heel. I think it's gonna end up being I think he's gonna seal the deal with a pedigree, which is gonna be awesome. You're gonna think he's gonna do the Tyler Driver 98 and he's gonna drop a pedigree and do it. It's going to be great, and everyone's going to cheer, and it's going to be awesome, and he's going to be a heel, and people are going to boo him, and they're going to boo him to the point where they're going to cheer him, because he's going to lean so far into the heel gimmick and do all the things that everyone wants him to do. It's going to be great. Like, I don't understand why people, just wait, you know what I mean? Just wait. It wasn't like Iron Man 1, then Endgame, you idiots. Just let it build up. AEW, they have good faith with me so far. When it comes down to storytelling and matches and stuff like that, if there is something being built that I'm not sure about, I'm gonna be like, all right, let's see how it plays out. I think the Jay thing is an experiment, so I don't even know if Tony knows if he's right on this one. We'll see, but whatever. They do a lineup for Dynamite next week. CM Punk versus Wardlow, which I think. Obviously, CM Punk is going to win. No way Wardlow's going to win. But whether or not that's going to be the first main indicator of the Wardlow face turn is yet to be seen. Maybe it could be the first stone in a rock slide. Well, who knows? Hikaru Shida versus Serena Deeb. That's going to be a great match. I'm looking forward to that. I hope they're given time. I hope it's a good match. Honestly, I think it will be. They're two talented women. And the promo that Serena Deeb cut today has me emotionally invested in it. So we'll see. To the point where if Serena won that whole thing, I wouldn't mind. Because it would be, to build her up as a future title contender, you got to start doing that at some time. Hikaru Shida had one of the longest reigns of that belt. So she doesn't need to be built up at all. So technically, Deeb needs to win a little bit more than Shida does, unless you're going to start building Shida up to be a contender for the next champion. But we all know she's going to be the contender for a champion that is going to end up beating her because you're not going to put the belt again on Shida anytime soon. So whatever. Powerhouse Hobbs versus Dante Martin is the last one that they had mentioned. Fine. Probably Dante Martin will win. And it's a strong possibility that that's going to set up the match between him and Hook, which will be awesome. I don't know when they're going to do that. Maybe it'll be a main event on Rampage, which would make that worth watching. If I was someone, and being that I've been to a few AEW shows already, if I was someone who knew that they tape Rampage after Dynamite, and after sitting through 4 hours of wrestling, because you have to sit through Dark Elevation beforehand, and they were like, yo, the main event of Rampage is going to be Hook versus Dante Martin, I'm staying for that shit. Even if it means I got to deal with bullshit on the trains or in the parking lot, I'm staying for that shit. So that might be a very worthwhile Rampage main event. And if Hook is as good as he looks, and if he could pull some more tricks out of the bag with a guy like Dante Martin, who's fucking awesome, he might be in for some good shit. Might be in for some real good shit. So let's hope. The only reason I'm kind of interested in this match is I'm hoping that it sparks the Dante Martin versus Hook. Because remember, them sending Hook was a response to them getting screwed by Dante Martin. So, who knows? Maybe they'll start with a tag match. It's going to be Hook and Ricky Starks versus Hook and Ricky Starks versus Dante Martin and Leo Rush or some shit, or Dante Martin and his brother or whatnot. Who knows? Final match of the night. Jurassic Express defeats the Lucha Brothers to win the AEW World Tag Team titles. I thought my match of the year for 2021 was the Bucks versus the Lucha Brothers. Everything about that match was awesome. From the entrances, which I've watched about 60,000 times, to the match itself, to the crowd reaction after, Penta hugging his daughter, they're all covered in blood. That was my match of the year. Like, I fucking love that match. Like, that match was the match of my 2021. But like, I just felt like they hadn't built up anyone worthwhile for them to really fight. You know what I mean? Like, the Bucks held on to the belts for so long, like, they really weren't building up the rest of that tag team division. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, like, the Lucha Brothers beat Jurassic Express in the tag finals to get that shot at the Bucks at All Out. So, like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I just, like, the build for Jurassic Express, I was kind of hoping that the first time anyone from that group got a title was going to be Jungle Boy getting the TNT title. Unless they did and this is how I was thinking of this before, unless they had a really good build to Jurassic Express winning. But I thought the build for the Lucha Brothers winning the tag titles at All Out was better, and it was capped off with a better match than this one. I felt like the Lucha Brothers could have had a great rivalry with Santana and Ortiz. I think the rivalry that they had with FTR unfortunately got cut short because Dash got injured. No, actually, they had that feud with Proud and Powerful. Yeah, but it was like a weird feud with, like, they were trying to switch out people, and they were luchadors and blah, 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 and then they beat them for the, for the AAA tag team titles. It's just, I don't know. I just felt like it could have gone better. I felt like they were a better tag team. And I felt like their tag team division is too stacked, but, like, they have 2.0 engaged in a lot of, like, slapstick hijinks. They have Santana and Ortiz doing, I don't even know what the fuck. They're with Eddie Kingston right now doing some bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, maybe Men of the Year. I actually hope Men of the Year take the belts. Like, we need a heel tag team that isn't the Bucks. And the only ones that you really got are Men of the Year. And, like, I like Dan Lambert, and I like Scorpio Sky, and I like Ethan Page. And they're a great heel tag team, and they could really go. And, like, the fact that they're not in matches with really good tag teams is just kind of, like, disappointing. Like, they're fighting guys, like, they're in tag team matches with, like, Sting and Darby Allin and shit like that. I don't know. Like, something needs to go, like the future of that tag division, like, they have a lot of talent, but their storytelling and their booking and, like, the building of their tag teams, like, there are experienced tag teams that aren't getting built up. Like, I understand that young tag teams need to get built. That's why I'm not really complaining about tag teams like Proud and Powerful and Varsity Blondes. You know what I mean? But, like, guys like Santana and Ortiz, what are you doing with them? You know what I mean? Like, they're like, there needs to be something. I guess the fact that they were in a high profile feud with, like, Dan Lambert, and they're in Inner Circle with Chris Jericho. Like, I get why they put a lot of these guys. I get why they put a lot of these tag teams in factions with like a star, like a notable person. Like, like Private Parties with the Hardy Family Office. Santana and Ortiz are part of Inner Circle. You know what I mean? Like, they paired up Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus with Christian Cage. Like, they're putting these guys in front of, like actual, like, faces, because it's the only, until you can start building up good storylines with them, you got to start, you have to draw eyes to their matches somehow. And the only way you're going to do that is with, like, faces that are, like, notable. Like, guys like a Jericho, guys like a Matt Hardy, so I don't know. I'm curious, congratulations to Lucha Boy and Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy. I like Jungle Boy as a singles competitor. I'm not really sold on Jurassic Express as a tag team, because I think after Luchasaurus tore his quad, he was never the same again. He doesn't do as many of, like, the backflips and like the kip ups and stuff like that. Like, yeah, he's a big guy, he has long legs, and he could do kicks and shit like that. But I have a feeling he's gonna fall victim to the AEW. I'm gonna call this the AEW Big Hoss syndrome, where, like, they've embraced the fact that, like, you don't need big guys to have good matches, but the fact is that there are more smaller guys out there than giants, and the majority of the giants are in AEW, are with Vince. And if you're a big guy in AEW, you don't really have a fantastic sandbox to play in, unless, like, they do some really smart booking and really, like, clever storytelling in the ring. But I feel like there's only so many tropes that you could do. Yeah, Jordan, that's a good point. I feel like Jurassic Express could, lose to Red Dragon, but also like if they bring up those trios belts and Roddy Strong is like a year or two out from being a free agent unless Vince releases him, like I don't know, like I feel like you want to save the trios titles for like Red Dragon and what do you call it? And Adam Cole. Cause like putting a belt on Adam Cole is always a good idea. Whether it's a tag belt, a mid-card belt, a trios belt, a singles belt, an open weight belt. I don't fucking care what belt. But like putting a belt on Adam Cole is a smart plan. But I don't know. It depends on whether or not they're gonna go forward with trios and they're gonna keep these three guys together or not. I'm not really too sure. A lot of my plans for Cole were dashed when Kevin Owens re-signed to WWE, which is a whatever. It's a whatever moment to be honest. I really like. I don't know. I don't know why he. I mean. Listen, I don't have a family, so like I don't have those I don't have those motivations when I think about like what I would do if I was in someone else if I was in a wrestler's shoes. But whatever, man. Good luck, bro. Good luck. You're hanging out with Seth freaking Rollins doing whatever the fuck. Oh yeah, FTR needs to I think FTR was another unfortunate victim of COVID because their reign was not in front of like any crowds at all. FTR is due big time for another reign. Like this tag team division, like if you really think about it, they need to start doing some more shit with these tag teams. They need to start building up contenders. They need to start putting better storylines. They need to start moving them away from faction storylines and getting them with tag team storylines. Like there's no tag team rivalries in AEW. Like, if someone from the chat could tell me a tag team rivalry that's happening right now in AEW, please let me know. But I don't think anyone could tell me that. FTR best current team in the world? Yeah. I mean, being that Phoenix's arm is done. Jurassic Express is an okay tag team. The rest of the tag teams in AEW are young. The Young Bucks are out with COVID. Yeah. I can't really think of another tag team because they disbanded DIY. Otherwise, I would have said that maybe DIY might have been a better tag team than FTR. But that's probably why they put on some of the best tag team matches I've seen in the last like 10 years. No. I don't want the Hardy Boys. Matt Hardy can't wrestle anymore. That guy can't even get up from the mat. He has to get up in a way where his spine and his hips don't explode in his body and turn into dust. I think the Hardy Boys, like maybe one more match against the Bucks, but that's it. I don't want them to have another run. Like maybe, okay, no. I'll rephrase that. They have one more run in them. So if you want the Hardy Boys to come back, it better be the best thing that you could think of because that's going to be their swan song, and it'll most likely end up in the final. We're serious this time. The final deletion. Yeah, he can't move at all. And who knows what the fuck is going on with Jeff. So I don't know. I think the Hardy Boys have one more run in them. I don't know if anyone's ever going to sign Jeff Hardy again. Because even though they said, I mean, I don't know how or why he left. It looks like people thought that he was drunk or something. It had something to do with alcohol, but it looks like it wasn't the case. If that's the case, then his professionalism, why the fuck would I sign him? Because how do I know if this guy isn't going to walk off the job if he doesn't like anything? Like, I'm sorry, but like, I don't know. I'm not sure. But I really thought that Brody King was going to debut tonight, and I really thought that was going to be the creation of a tag team with Malachi. I think the only hint in that direction was the fact that he was looking at the tag team champs. He was looking at the tag team champs at the end of Dynamite. And then JR was like, oh, he could find a partner. Like, yeah, sure, JR. We all know he's going to find a partner. He's going to find Brody fucking King. So, Yeah. Like I really thought Brody King was gonna debut tonight. That was gonna add to the tag team division. But I don't know. What's going on with Andrade? Oh, he's actually gonna be feuding with Darby, which I think is gonna be pretty cool. And I think he should beat Darby because they need to start doing something with Andrade. Also, like like I said, like the guys who are experienced, they got to do something with. Like, I get that the younger guys, they don't do shit with, but, like, the younger guys, they got to do something with. I mean, what the fuck am I saying? The younger guys, they, like, fine. Like, let them do whatever. Let them be on Darker Elevation or whatever. But, like, the experienced guys, like, you got to do something with. Because, like, Andrade's too good to just be, like, in, like, random-ass matches on Dark. Like, I'm sorry. But, we'll see. But I guarantee you, watch. I guarantee you, we put the Hardy Boys out there, you're going to get people going, like, fuck what they say. Because the people I'm talking about probably have a Twitter account, which means they're fucking idiots to begin with. Yeah. Put the Party Boys out there for one more like run. Have them fight the Young Bucks. The Young Bucks are going to have them, will most likely put them in as like a match of the year candidate because the Bucks could do that with anybody pretty much. Yeah. Give them that one final run. But aside from that, that was pretty much it. It was an okay show. It was half and half. The Hangman match, awesome. MJF and Punk segment, awesome. Wardlow and Shawn Spears, nobody gives a shit. Jade Cargill and Ruby Soho, the wrong woman won. But depending on how they're booking it, I guess we'll find out whether or not I'm right or wrong on that one. Serena Deeb interview, pretty fucking cool. Malachi Black versus Brian Pillman Jr. without the Brody King, debut, don't really care. Another guy they're not really doing much with either, but obviously has the potential to do something. Maybe start building up Andrade and Black as potential challengers for Hangman. Because if Hangman isn't going to drop that belt until, like, I think he's holding on to it until Revolution. But I think if he's not going to drop it until, like, Double or Nothing, you got to build up guys like Malachi and guys like Andrade to fight Hangman, and Hangman could beat them. Because, like, they're not putting, like, those guys could take a loss. They, like, I don't expect everyone to win their first title shot all the time. So, whatever. But they could take the loss. So, I think, like, they need to do it. What else was there? And then the tag match was disappointing because Rey Fenix is fucking dead. Rey Fenix's arm bent 6 ways to Sunday. I didn't see that when the original camera angle, I couldn't tell. The replay, you could tell that shit. And I don't think they knew when they put the replay on that he got his arm fucked up. But his arm was fucked. Now, from the first angle that I saw it from, where you were looking at him looking like above his head, like his head was facing you and his feet was out the other way, I thought he dislocated his shoulder. Because you see him go like this. You see him go like that afterwards. And when I saw that shit, I was like, oh, fuck, he dislocated his shoulder. But I'm like, whatever. Dislocated shoulder, whatever. Fine. He could always pop it in, no big deal. Nah. And I think, I also wondered, like, I guess he was trying to break his fall with his hand, which, I'm no fucking master or whatever. Like, I took judo when I was, like, in my early 20s. But, when you take those hip throws, like, to break your fall, you're slapping the mat. So I get it. I get that he was trying to slap the mats to kind of break his fall. But I think what happened was he didn't slap it. He put it down in a way where it braced itself. And then it just went. And that was a wrap. That was a wrap for him. That sucked, bro. That sucked big time. Jake Atlas blew out his knee? Jake Atlas blew out his knee how? He just had a match. It was taped. Oh, he blew out his knee on the Rampage match? Bulletproof, you're bugging out. You only have to say it once in caps. Christ. Is that the report out of Rampage that he blew out his knee during the Adam Cole match? Yes or no? I'm curious now. I don't know how much of a delay this is on between myself and the chat. But hopefully we'll find out. Maybe I'll search the interwebs right now. We'll see. Let's see. Yep. Wow. Yep, Jake Atlas down with an injury. There we go. That's being reported right now. Wrestling Observer is reporting it. Oh, well, man. What a shame. Well, Adam Cole's going to... Yeah, well, whatever. I wasn't expecting anything from really Jake Atlas either. He was another guy that they were going to have to build up on opening matches, squash matches, dark matches, and stuff like that. But my heart goes out to him, bro. He just got signed and his knee got blown out. At least he's still getting paid, homie. At least he's still getting paid. Because he wasn't getting paid before. I'll tell you that much right now. But, wow. Is my timer correct? Was I really at this for almost 2 hours? That went by in a blink. Thank you all you guys for supporting who I told about this. You Bulletproof, thank you. Tunix, thank you. Royal, my dude, thank you. Jordan, thank you also for tuning in and contributing in the chat. I really appreciate that, guys. That means a lot. Thank you. And I was on for a while, and you guys were kind of with me, so I appreciate that. So my plan is that I would like to do this. I don't watch Raw, and I don't watch SmackDown, and I don't watch NXT. Because I don't like the shows. I think they suck. And I could either A, watch them, and I could complain about what I saw every week, but I don't know why anyone will want to see me do that. If you guys, if you guys want that, let me know. And everyone who's in the chat right now, I know personally, so you guys could, let me know afterwards your feedback on what's going on. But for anyone who I guess doesn't know me at all and is watching this for the first time or watches this at some point in time, I don't know. I guess put it in the comments, but I don't read the comments either. So I don't know. Maybe I will set up some way for there to be feedback. Maybe I'll just set up an email for you guys to email me at. So if there's something that you would like me to talk about on a regular basis, I could always give it a shot and see if it, gets traction. The fact that I'm going to lower myself to watch Raw, SmackDown, and NXT for you clowns, I mean, that's a gift of love. So you better know what you're asking. There's no ROH to watch. I do watch New Japan. I'm gonna and New Japan Strong, so I'll keep you guys updated with New Japan news. I follow enough stuff online that I like to kind of keep up with wrestling news. So we're always gonna be talking about some news and stuff, but I would like to review Dynamite and Rampage weekly. So I'll probably do this again after Rampage, a little bit of a shorter show because Rampage is a shorter show because there won't be as much to talk about. But, if there's any, it'll be a little bit of a longer show if there's any sort of news breaking between Rampage and Dynamite. So who knows? But, I will be doing, as of right now, it's going to be very hard. Yeah, I do own a WWE title belt, but I need to get rid of it so I could get the AEW one. But I have rent to pay, Jordan, you son of a bitch. No, that's a lie. No, I'm not a closeted E-drone. This is more of I'm a rehabilitated WWE fan, which means I watched it. I thought it was the only one to watch until someone was like, you fucking idiot, there's better wrestling out there. So that's what I did. So that belt is the last replica of a past that I have shed like a snake skin. That belt is going to be replaced by the AEW replica title. I just haven't decided when I'm going to actually spend the money on something that literally adds no value to my practical life. Maybe, who knows? We'll see. Anyone want to freak? And yeah, no. So we'll see about that one. But yeah, I'll probably maybe you know what? It's a maybe on the Rampage. I would maybe I'll do it. I'd rather do this once a week so it doesn't get too overblown. I'll just do Wednesdays after Dynamite, and then I could just recap Rampage after, because more than likely the storylines on Rampage are going to be continued on Dynamite anyway, so we're going to have to talk about it regardless. As far as the time, it really just depends, because like I don't do this for money, and this isn't a job, and I'm not really looking to make. I'm not necessarily looking to make this a source of income unless it somehow magically becomes one. So I have a day job that does actually have me work nights. So I can't guarantee that I'm always going to be done watching Dynamite when Dynamite is actually over. So I don't know whether or not I will be, so it might be a little bit later. I always watch Dynamite the day of. Always. No matter what time I get out of work, I always watch Dynamite. So there will be shows on Wednesday after Dynamite. A concrete time I couldn't commit on. So I'm not saying this to sound like one of those fucking YouTubers or whatever, but like, because I don't know the exact times when I'm going to be on, just sub to the channel so that you'll get notified when I'm on, and that'll be it. Because this won't have a Twitter unless someone twists my arm, which I believe my producer might, because yes, I do have a producer, and the reason why this isn't as polished as I want is just because that work hasn't been done yet. So eventually, it's not just going to be me and my whole apartment in the background. It'll look a little bit nicer with some graphics and some shit. So that stuff is coming. I'm working on it. Unless my producer twists my arm to get on social media, or unless she agrees to run all of that for me, I probably won't be doing it. So the only way you're gonna know that these shows are on is by subscribing. So just do that. But otherwise, at least I'm not saying in a way where I'm like, do it so I can get money. I'm not in it for money. I don't want to make money off of this. I just like talking wrestling, and I have way too much time on my hands, and I have all this equipment. I might as well do it. So yeah, I'm excited that you guys came in on this journey with me and listened to today's episode. I really appreciate it. I'll be back next week. Sub to the channel so you'll get notified when I go live. It will be after Dynamite. I just don't know exactly. Actually, you know what? It's a good thing that I know my work schedule in advance, so I actually can tell you when I'm going to start Dynamite next week. So next week is today's the 5th. So next Wednesday is the 12th. If there are a lot of commercials and I could skip through them all, I will be on about 15-20 minutes after Dynamite. If not, I would say expect me on Dynamite at around, I say 11:30 p.m. 11:30 p.m. next week I'll be on. Somewhere close to that time. That'll give me enough time to get home, watch Rampage, get some notes together, and put the stream on. So next week, after Dynamite, I will be on. I appreciate everyone who listened and watched. I appreciate everyone who participated in the chat. Thank you very much. You guys are really cool, good friends. I appreciate that. And I look forward to seeing you all here next week.